Hi Shemai everyone and welcome to VGL cast number 15. Would everyone introduce yourself in reverse alphabetical order?
This is Vertigo Tea Party. Hello.
I am RavenValor95. Hello.
And I am Maddragon. Hi, Shmai.
Unfortunately, the Ice Bear Judgeth is not here with us right now. I don't know where he is. He's probably off judging someone, Ghost Rider style, but he's not here, so we're going to have to get it started without him. Hopefully, he'll join us midway into the podcast, but no promises. So let's talk about what we've been playing. Vertigo, what have you been playing?
The game I've been playing that I was going to discuss is Citizens of Earth. It's had a failed Kickstarter, which is one of those indie games. It blows my mind that nobody was talking about it because it's very much like Earthbound. I didn't play Earthbound myself, but that game has like tons of hype and people going crazy about it. Didn't really get much press. Didn't really get people talking about it much, which resulted in it ended up not doing very good on Kickstarter, so it failed. Atlas picked it up and it just got released about a week ago.
Wait, Atlas?
Yeah, Atlas.
Atlas is in like Persona.
As in Persona, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. They didn't develop it, but they published it for Eden Interactive, I think is the company name. Or no, Eden Industries, I think.
Okay, anyway, that's interesting. If Atlas thinks it's good, then I'll have to give it a shot.
And it's quite good. It's an RPG, and it's kind of JRPG style. You have an overworld. You're walking around. You run into enemies, and you have like the turn-based combat, that type of stuff.
Now, wait. Okay, so you said it's like Earthbound. When you out-level an enemy, and if you run into them, do they instantly die like Earthbound?
Actually, I guess that is where they got that from. But yes, if you are like drastically higher level than an enemy, and they're by themselves on the map, then yes, you just get like a small amount of XP, and they disappear.
All right, that's awesome.
And it's a very lighthearted like RPG. Like you play as, it's interesting in the kind of the gimmick, if you want to call it that, is you play as the vice president of the world, and you're not actually a member of the party, because of course you're political and you don't do things. You just tell other people to do things for you, and you can have up to 3 people in your party, and NPCs that you run into in the world, almost all of them can be recruited. So like the baker guy and the barista and the journalist
and the candlestick maker,
you can all do things to quests. Yes, exactly. And like there's a weather person and a scientist. You can all do like quests for them, and then they'll join your party, and they've all got different abilities. You can level them up individually, things like that. And the types of enemies are just silly. For example, there were these deer with their, instead of regular antlers, they had phone antlers, and they were called telefons. There was like a boss bear. Like, I don't know if this is the case outside of the US or if this is just some weird US thing. But like when you buy honey here, it's almost always in a container that looks like a bear. Like, I don't know when this trend started, but like now, like everybody does it. But whenever you buy honey, it's in like a little container that looks like a bear. Well, one of the enemies you fight is a bear that's one of those honey containers. He even got like the lid on the top of his head and all of that. He gives you a quest later on too, which to go get more honey for the honey bear. But you fight like stop sign monsters and all this other weird creatures.
Is it also like Earthbound, where even though it is really cute and lighthearted, it's got this like undertone of really dark and creepy stuff?
So far, not really. It's hard to tell how far I am in the game. It feels like I'm not that far, but it's a
JRPG.
Game, so
you said, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's the same style. It's not as grindy. It could be, because the thing is, like you tend to get new party members like as you progress, but the problem is they'll be lower level. So your party average will be like 15, but then you hire a new person and they're like level 6 or 7. So if you put them into a group fighting even level stuff, they're going to get obliterated. So, but the nice thing about that is I think they kind of figured that would happen. So what happens is, unlike a lot of RPGs like this, even though that person's dead / unconscious or whatever, they still get experience. So if they level up, which they probably will because they're so low level and you're fighting higher level creatures, their health automatically fills up to the max, so that like wakes them back up. So what my experience has been like for the first couple of fights, like the first 3 or 4 fights, they often get one shot, but they level up every fight. So they're always back awake for the next fight, and then they just get knocked out again. But until they get to the level, they can actually.
It's they take a lot of lessons from Chumbawamba. I get knocked down and I get up again.
Wow, that was an interesting reference, but yes.
Well, iSped makes it all the time, and he's not here, so I had to do it in his place.
Well, that was quite appropriate actually. But yeah, it's been pretty darn fun so far. It's $15 game, so I can't think it's that long. But you know, and I've actually been enjoying when I get a new party member, going back and kind of killing like medium level type enemies so that they're still getting a lot of experience so they level up quickly. It doesn't take very long. For example, my average party level is probably like 15ish, a little maybe 16, and I got a new party member who was like level 8. And I was just trying to get back to a quest giver that I had talked to before, so I was killing everything along the path just to get experience. And that character already was level 15. Now I was doing things to try to specifically get more experience because like different characters obviously have different abilities, and they tend to be relatively unique. Like one person's a mascot, and one of his abilities is it increases the experience for the party for that encounter. So I always use his ability for every single fight so that one character is getting the max amount of experience. And like I say, for the first few fights, they'll level at least 1 level per fight. So they level pretty quick. So even if you have to quote unquote grind to get a new character up to speed, so far it's not taken very long at all.
Yeah, that's cool.
Though the max level is 100, so if you wanted to get like every character to 100,
nice.
I imagine that would take a really long time. They also have a school that you can put your NPCs I guess you can call them NPCs because play them. I'll call them townsfolk because it makes sense if you've played the game. But you can actually put the townsfolk in school, and like it costs money and it takes like time and real time, but they can like get experience. That way you don't have to deal with kind of having them die over and over
So
again.
could you say like put them in the school and then like change the time on your system clock?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I mean, it's usually pretty short. Like even the mid range, which is like 1,000 experience, which is a pretty hefty amount of experience. That's about, given my current level, 1,000 experience is probably 7 or 8 battles, somewhere in there. It only takes like an hour, and usually I'm busy like going somewhere else doing more quests anyway, so it doesn't really affect. I guess if you wanted them like right then and there, you could, but I've never really run into that situation.
Okay, cool.
And like I said, it's not a big deal just to bring them along, unless you're in a tough area where you're just barely getting by anyway. Then it's not really a big deal. And another cool thing is you have one character whose trait, like every character has a special trait that's unique to them. And one of the mascot's trait is he can adjust the difficulty at any time except within combat. And each like little tick on the slider gives you a little bit more experience and a little bit more money per fight. And every 3 or 4 ticks, you get a major increase, like 2 times talent XP or more items. Like an item will drop in every single fight, stuff like that.
So it's like a risk versus reward thing.
Right, exactly. So if you've got a new party, because what I was doing for a while there was when I had like a full party of people that were all around the same level, I'll have the experience, the difficulty at like 1.75 or something like that. But if I get like a new party member or maybe even 2 new party members that I want to try, I'll drop the difficulty back down to 1 and just, fight normally. Then I'll have like, usually I won't go any less. Like there's one party member who pretty much never leaves my party just because he's so good. And
is that the vice president?
Your party members, and if I had the difficulty on 1, I can get by with just him in most cases, and they'll get lots of experience. So it ends up working out.
Cool.
It sounds like a really good game. It's just I've watched a little bit of your gameplay of it and stuff, and it seems like a game that I'd really get into. But it's just like the art style and stuff is.
The art style is the biggest thing that's keeping me away from it as well. It's a bit too cartoony.
It's the same thing with Earthbound as well. It's like too. It's got that cartoony sort of like
if it was
realistic
anime
style,
styled, I'd be
you know.
down in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because it's not like other RPGs or JRPGs, which are usually like anime or fantasy or sci-fi and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
but
you
once I
definitely
get it,
have
yeah,
to kind of be into that style.
yeah.
I do, given given the type of game it is, I'm totally fine with it. Like because it's going that route, because it's trying to be the more lighthearted and comical, and given the type of enemies you're fighting, I think it works out well. Like I kind of get myself in that mindset, and I enjoy playing it for what it is. So, but I could see how that could be a big negative for some people.
Because I mean, if I probably will eventually buy it, but when I do get into playing it, the gameplay and stuff seems like it'll be good and it'll draw me in. It's just like the style of it, the theme of the game and stuff. That's the initial thing that I got to leap over. Like, but it seems good though.
Vertigo, I have a question for you. Like, do you think the game is suited for, say, younger children? Because my little sister saw that you had uploaded a video and she was like, "Oh, I know of that game. I want to get it," and stuff like that. So I was thinking I could get it for her. Do you think she'd enjoy it? She's like 7.
Yeah, I think especially, and if she was having difficulty, you can drop the difficulty down even more than 1.0. You can like just keep dropping it for quite a bit more. So like even if it was too difficult, then she could always, once she gets that character, which is pretty early in the game that you get the mascot, you can she could just drop the difficulty down. But even on that level, like I said, if you play it on the normal difficulty, it's pretty easy unless you wander into an area that's nasty. It can get a little tricky. But I think it'd be good, like, and the humor is pretty. There's like adult like hints in there and whatnot, but I don't think there's been anything to like that would be offensive to parent if they knew their kid was playing that. So it's been on that side of things too. It's pretty kid friendly, I think, and I think it's the controls are simple enough that a kid would like it. I mean, hell, we were playing like Dragon Warrior back in the day, and that game was was a real bastard. So
yeah, she plays like Pokemon and all that, so she'd be fine with like a regular JRPG.
Yeah, she could probably handle that one pretty easy. The mechanics are simpler, but and it's interesting. I think it's cool too, just trying to come up with synergy between your townsfolk, because because there is the way their abilities work. You can find this interesting synergy. Like for example, the mascot and your brother. Your brother does an attack where it will actually buff the enemy because it gives you an extra bonus, but it buffs the enemy too. Well, the mascot has an ability where he swaps buffs and debuffs with the enemy. So you can use that to buff the enemy and then use the mascot to steal those buffs right back off of him onto the mascot character. So
and you still get the reward?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little cool synergy type things in there that you can do. So it's neat. I quite like it so far. That my big negative, well, two big negatives so far. Well, one's a minor negative. Well, the big one is like some of the enemies are really tedious to fight. For example, there's this crab that instead of a shell, it uses a road cone, and it will drop into its cone, and you cannot damage it while it's in the cone. And
Mega Man style.
Yeah. So like one round, it'll drop into the shell. So all your attacks are wasted. And then the second round, it's still in the shell, but it heals itself. So you basically go 2 rounds where you're just kind of twiddling your thumbs, waiting for it to come back out. So it can be a bit tedious on enemies like that. But so far, that's been the exception, not the rule. So
yeah, I hate enemies that just heal themselves constantly. It was like Bowser and Huff and Puff in Paper Mario, the N64 game. They would constantly heal themselves for like 60 or 70 HP, and it's like the most aggravating thing. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like I say, luckily it doesn't happen too much. It's not the healing so much as the not being able to do anything for 2 rounds. Like if it just like dropped into its shell for 1 round and healed, that would be one thing. And I guess what makes it noticeable the most is when you're fighting just one of them, because now you're just sitting around. Like if it was like a multi-party encounter or something, or like a different enemy was there, of course you could just attack whatever the other enemy was, but you end up just kind of sitting there and waiting. I mean, the nice thing though is that your attacks, because generally the way the game works is you have attacks that generate energy and attacks that use energy, and generally, of course, the attacks that use energy are better for the most part. But the nice thing is that you can still attack and use those abilities that generate energy, and you will still generate energy. So even though you're not doing damage, you're generating energy. So as soon as he pops out, you can just
annihilate him.
Just completely destroy him. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit tedious. The other thing that's really distracting is that the game is voice acted, but it's not consistent. So like sometimes you go talk to an NPC or townsperson, and it'll be both sides of the conversation between the vice president of the world, which is you, and the townsperson, fully voice acted. But then you go to another one, and like it's not voice acted at all, or like half of it's voice acted, or things like that. So it's really weird. So you're like sitting there waiting for them to start talking, and you're like, oh, I know this is just a text part. I have to read this. So it feels like rushed, or they ran out of money, or something like that. So that part definitely feels very inconsistent and feels very, very not complete. But other than that, I've really been enjoying it so far.
Cool. Maddragon, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? A lot of stuff, mainly on Vita and PS4.
Remember, it's one game. You changed that rule a while ago.
But it's like, what about Sly Cooper? I've been playing that. What about Resident Evil Remastered? I've been playing that.
My screensaver just came on, Jesus.
Nah, wait. The game I'm going to be talking about is Grim Fandango on PS4, because that's what I've been playing the most of. Now, I know Vertigo's started an LP of it, which I've been watching a little bit as I've been playing the game.
Yeah, that's how I'm experiencing the game.
Otherwise, it's going to spoil all the puzzles and stuff in it. But it's like
I want the puzzles spoiled. I'm terrible with adventure games.
Well, so far I haven't been too bad with it. Although there has been a few, puzzles here and there where I've just been stumped for like a good 10, 15 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell do I need to do? Good thing I got, Google to tell me what to do, because it's like. And for the most part, though, it's been pretty good. I mean.
How are you playing it? Like, which control scheme?
Using the tank controls, because there's a trophy for using the tank controls for the entire game. So gotta get that trophy.
Yeah, it's a gold trophy. Ooh.
Oh yeah, but after that, I'll probably play with the camera-based stick controls then. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, I remember. I've never played it before this, but I remember when Sony announced that they were, going to be like helping remaster it and stuff like that. It was familiar. I don't know where I've seen it before. I don't think I've seen gameplay of it before. I may have, but it looked really familiar. I knew what it was, but yeah, it's really good. I'm about a couple hours into it. It's just started year 2, and there's like 4 years in the game, and it's really good. I mean, it feels like an old game as well, like from the 90s, because it's I don't know what if it's the gameplay, if it's just the sort of like the puzzles where it is quite cryptic, and you gotta like basically sometimes if you get stuck, you just gotta try every single item that you've got with every single possible combination, or if it's just the art style, or something like that. It feels nostalgic in a way. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the dialogue in this game too.
Oh yeah, I've been talking to every character, and it's like the great thing is there's basically every character you talk to, you get an achievement or trophy for like exhausting all their dialogue and stuff like that. So it's pretty good as well. But it's like every character I've gone and picked like every single option I can just for the dialogue, because it's the characters, especially like what's his name, Glottis. I love that character.
Yeah, Glottis is great. Have you? I presume it's there. Have you used that option a lot to switch back and forth between like classic mode and remastered mode?
Yeah, you just click the R3 stick, the R3 button, and it's like I've been doing it, every now and then. I mean, I play it in remastered.
Do you play it in 4x3 or 16:9?
Oh, 4x3, 4x3.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it looks all stretched and it just looks weird. I mean, you could get used to that, but it just looks so much better 4x3, and then you've got the borders on the side. Just like every now and then I'll be like switching back and forth, like seeing what the difference is between the original models and.
I noticed there was like a lot more lighting effects in the remastered version, which is nice.
I mean, that's the big thing from it. Like in the beginning, when you start off and Manny's in his office, and the pre-rendered background, there's that, shadow and the light shining through from the window. But on the original model, there's nothing there. So you switch to the remastered, and you got all the different like blinds, like shining on his shadow, casting shadows on his model, which is pretty good. But nothing's been done to the backgrounds though. It's just all exactly as it was. It's only the character models.
That's what I hate, is like the model, like the background's exactly the same. So there's a lot of scenes where like literally only thing going on that's different is like the model. Like everything else looks bad, and it causes issues sometimes too, like with cutscenes where stuff's going on, where like the old backgrounds but the new models like weird. It just looks odd. Like it just completely looks out of place. It's I don't know. Like I feel like they kind of skimped a little bit too much there. Like I would have liked to see new backgrounds done too, but the backgrounds aren't done. So
the best thing they could have done would have been to redo all the backgrounds and stuff, isn't it? But
yeah, someone posted an Unreal Engine 4 remake of Grim Fandango, and it looked gorgeous, but that cost like way too much money.
Oh yeah, like that. I mean, I'm not expecting something like that. I'm not even expecting something as extreme as like the DuckTales remaster was, which, in my opinion, is pretty much how you. That's like, to me, that's the standard for how like a remaster is really done. Like you're really wanting to do it. I think that was a great.
See, in my opinion, it's remake, the Resident Evil GameCube game.
Resi remake. To this day is still, like, in my opinion, the best like remake of a game.
Well, I didn't play the first one, so that one's.
Well, it goes from like PS1 polygon models and stuff like that to looking and atrocious dialogue and just bad everything. Well, it was an alright game. It was a good game.
Sandwich.
Yeah, but then you go to the remake and it's just everything looks so goddamn gorgeous. It looked like a generation ahead because it was a GameCube game. It's insane.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the original remake. Are we there now? Are we there at that point where we can say the original remake?
Yes.
But yeah, this is on GameCube. I played the GameCube version. I didn't play the PlayStation version, but yeah.
Oh, the GameCube version is the best. I mean, well, the PS, the remastered HD version would be the best of it now.
Yeah.
But I've just found that link. I've got a link. I've posted it in TeamSpeak, I think. It should be in TeamSpeak now. Of Grim Fandango done in the Unreal Engine. It looks bloody fantastic.
Yeah, it really does.
Now, see, that's how you do it. Like, and I wasn't expecting that. I mean, because I'd seen at least.
If it was that, though, holy shit, that would have been amazing.
My God.
Yeah. My God, it would have cost Double Fine $2 billion, though. Because...
But see,
I swear to God,
one of the main things they wanted to do with Grim Fandango was just get it out there so people could purchase it, because for the longest time you just weren't able to.
Wow, that's like, that makes it a little bit more depressing seeing this. This is what this should have been like. Oh my God, the elevator door looks.
I know I'm looking at that same picture. It's goodness, it's genius and gorgeous. Oh, I love it.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I love the game. Like, it's probably the best adventure game I ever played. But I don't know. I feel like they slacked on the remake. Like, I mean, the lighting effects are cool and all, but overall it just feels like it's just new models. It's like it feels like the same game with new models. Like even the 16:9 looks terrible because it's like you said, it's stretched.
Yeah, it's just stretch the entire image. The character models, the background is just stretched to the 16:9, and it does ruin the experience. Really, that's why most people are probably going to be playing in 4:3 with the borders and stuff, which still
they did add some niceties like with the point and click controls, because those weren't in it, I believe, originally. It was just tank controls.
Actually, I don't remember. It's been too long.
Because I swear, they had the person who added in the point and click adventure controls help them out with the remaster because it was a mod.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like I said, it's been a long time, but I thought it was like a point and click adventure, but I could be wrong. But I mean, regardless, I don't know. On the graphical side, it definitely feels bad. Obviously, the audio's not really redone. I mean, they might have remastered it or whatever, and and I definitely don't expect them to go back to the original voice actors and have them do all that again. I think that would be asking too much.
I'm glad they kept the original voices at least though, because Metal Gear Solid 1 was remastered or remade, and they got brand new voice actors, and it's just like, oh, go away, get the originals. I don't care if the audio's crap. I want the original.
Wait, they got new voice actors? What?
Yeah, for like like Jennifer Hale voices someone instead of like, and they get rid of like accents, like the Russian lady. I don't think she's Russian anymore in the what is the GameCube version of it called?
Twin Snakes. Oh,
yeah.
What's the name of that? Oh, damn you, Raven! You give me a brain fart. The Russian lady. No, the Russian lady. She's the weapon specialist. Tells you about like.
I'll Google Russian lady. Russian lady, Metal Gear Solid 1.
Nikita, is it? No, that's the fucking missile that you use.
I don't know what it is.
I know with the Twin Snakes, they did like a whole new dialogue for it as well. I mean, it's still good. It's still a really good thing, but it's like different from the original.
Natasha?
Especially the cutscenes. That's the one, Natasha.
Yeah.
I really need to play that. That shows how much I.
You need to do it for VGL.
Followed by 2 and 3 and 4 and Peace Walker and maybe Portable Ops.
And Ice Bear said he's doing 5.
Yeah, I expect him to do 5.
Yeah, so Grim Fandango.
It's really good. Yeah, we're getting off topic now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm still looking
really
at these
fun.
Unreal pictures. Like, I can't believe how. Like, I would buy the game again if they would do this. But like I said,
Grim Fandango remastered it again.
Yeah, I mean, unless they get a new financial person, it would, like I said, it would literally cost Double Fine $1 billion to make this game because they can't do anything in budget. But
yeah, because they're like really struggling. Double Fine. They live in San Francisco, one of the most expensive places to live,
which
and
is idiotic, by the way.
Well, in their defense, they've been set up there before it was super expensive, and then just everyone sort of came along and said, "Hey, we're making this place more expensive," and they're like, "Yay!" But yeah.
I wish they would bite the bullet and, well, one, not live somewhere where it's ridiculously expensive, and two, hire somebody who's actually good with money, because obviously they're not very good at managing it. Given how much they made for Broken Age, and then Broken Age Episode 1 was like I think that makes it worse, because like replaying Grim Fandango now really shines a light on how great Broken Age could have been, but wasn't. Like it was so meh. Like it wasn't bad, but it's forgettable.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Bobby Kotick. He said that Tim Schafer constantly goes over budget in Brutal Legend, and that's why they dropped him. And EA had to pick it up because they just weren't going to continue funding it because he just spent so much money.
Yeah, it's just he's just. I mean, he might be great writer. He is a great writer and all of that, but he needs somebody to rein him in and say, no, you can't. And that's the case. That's just the way it is sometimes, right? Some people just because you're good at this one thing doesn't mean you're going to be good at another. Sometimes you kind of, I mean, it's fine. The trick is finding that balance, right? That's why it's so important to have a good manager. Finding that balance between, all right, letting the creative people do their thing, but at the same time putting limits and saying, okay, like it would be cool if we could do that, but we can't afford it. It's either you got to make sacrifices, and definitely finding where that line is important, because you don't want to be too restrictive, because then the game it doesn't feel that special.
Tim is a very free spirit, I think, is how I describe him. So when you give him when you give him control over money and stuff like that, then he gets a bit too free spirited. He doesn't realize what he's doing.
Too ambitious.
But Grim Fandango, if you miss it, here's my thing. If you already own it, my opinion is that at least so far, it's not worth buying it again. I'm not that far in. I'm still on the very first year.
Even able to play the original on modern PCs?
Yeah, you can just get the GOG version.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Well, the only GOG version I've found is the remastered version, not the original.
Do they not have the original?
No, because like LucasArts was so stingy and stuff with it back in the day, and it's only now that Sony talked to Disney that they managed to get it to be released and stuff.
Well, yeah. Now that I'm looking, I don't see it on there. I swore they had it on there because I even thought I might have had it, but apparently I don't because
you're going insane.
Right. But I thought I saw it somewhere. Oh well, I guess not. But I guess it's worth buying just because. But part of me feels like they kind of were banking on nostalgia and goodwill and good word just for people to buy it again. Which again, to be fair, you can't seem to get the old version. So hey, might as well pay for this version that has some new shiny stuff in it. So that's cool.
Yeah, and you said it is your favorite like point and click adventure game of all time, didn't you?
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think, like I say, I'm kind of mixed. On one hand, it's cool that they've made it purchasable and playable on modern machines, and gave it a bit of a visual update. But at the same time, it feels like they did less than they should have for calling it a remaster when all that's really been changed is the model and the lighting effects. And like I said, the lighting effects are pretty cool, but it's the backgrounds just really stick out as a sore thumb because that's the first thing I noticed when I loaded the game up. I was like, wow, these backgrounds look pretty bad. And I kept switching back and forth and checking my settings to make sure I wasn't missing anything. But it's still like if you never played it, then I think you absolutely, without question, you should buy it. Like no questions.
I mean, it's like the best way to get the game because that's probably the main thing about the remaster, and it's just that they easily just tweaked a few things, and then there we go. It's easily available now on different platforms. Because
I imagine they spend most of their money just trying to get it to run on modern systems like the Vita, the PS4, PC, all that stuff.
And if you look at it from the perspective of they've made it available on newer machines where it was not before. Oh, and also it's a bonus that the graphics are redone. Then then whatever. Then that's cool. But if you look at it as, hey, you've already played this game, you might even own it, and you can get it to run on your machine maybe. Here's a remastered version of it though, with like updated graphics and stuff. Then it feels like a letdown, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's still a great game. And again, absolutely. Again, if you've never played it and you like adventure games even remotely, you'd be crazy not to.
All right. I think we should probably move on since I think we've hammered the point that Grim Fandango is a good game.
Good game. You should play it.
But to continue the subject of remastered games, I've recently been playing Resident Evil Remake Remastered.
And you're not talking about JoJo?
No, because you were... I was only going to talk about JoJo if you talked about Resident Evil, but you didn't talk about Resident Evil. You decided to talk about Grim Fandango.
Well, you can talk about JoJo next time. Anyway,
yes.
Go on.
Resident Evil. So, I am not all that familiar with the Resident Evil series, unlike a certain maddest of dragons. I've only finished 4, 5, 6, and Revelations, and so... Well, and now Resident Evil Remastered, because I got the canon ending for Resident Evil 1. I saved Barry and Chris, and we all got out of there. It was good.
Wait, you finished it already?
Yeah, it took me 11 hours, or 11.9.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, you say, I'm, more experienced with the Resi series. I've only ever legitimately completed Resi 5. That's it. But I've played and owned every other Resi game, basically,
Oh yeah.
The Resi 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Code Veronica.
Dead Aim. Code Veronica, yeah, I got that. And I've played a good chunk of them, but I've never finished apart from 5.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, still, you're more. I'm
still more experienced.
Yeah, you are still more experienced. It's just I've selected a small group and I've gone more in depth with them, but you've got a much broader knowledge of the series as a whole.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you expect me to finish my games, really?
No, that'd be ridiculous. But But yeah, I finished it. I played it with Jill, and I have to admit, I didn't realize it at the time, but I completed it on easy difficulty. I'm so sorry.
Shameful.
Yes, it is. But the game was really good, and it was super tense, and I loved it. Like, I am so upset at myself for not having played Resident Evil 1 before, because it was just fantastic. It's definitely really cool to go back to the series roots and see like how it started, because I started from like Revelations and 5 and 4 and all that, and so I had already basically, I started playing the game when they had already punched the boulder, so it was just a bit so it's weird going back to when they were really reserved and actually took shit seriously.
When it was an actual survival horror game.
Yeah. I was constantly worrying about, do I have enough ammo? Like, I was constantly running out of, like, ammo. For the most part, I had, like, barely any ammo, barely any handgun ammo, barely any shotgun ammo. I was always just making things through. Like, I was always just passing through a section, always just solving a puzzle, always just Googling a solution to a puzzle. And, yeah, it's really cool. Something that is really cool is that I actually had to write down notes to help me solve puzzles. So I had to, like, there's this one puzzle where you have to use your lighter on the candles, and you have to, like, memorize the little symbol underneath it. So there's, like, a green candle, and then there'll be, like, an Egyptian eyeball, and then you'll go up to the pool table, and then you pick the green you look at the green balls, and you write down that number, and you've got to do that 3 times with 3 different Egyptian eyes, and then you've got to take that and go enter it into a code area, and then you've got to like input the code correctly on each Egyptian eye and each number correctly, and it's super cool and complicated. And then there's also other ones where you have to mix a formula to get rid of you got to get the VGL or whatever it's called, so you can destroy Plant 42. And you have to mix all these chemicals together, and it's like, it's cool. But yeah,
the newer Resis have lost, like.
Yeah.
Like you're saying about like item management and stuff like that, and you'd be running out of ammo, and you'd be like really tense and stuff. Like playing on the newer Resi games, like Resi 5 and Resi 4 as well. Resi 4 had plentiful ammo as well, but it was still a little bit more closer to, the same sort of atmosphere as the old Resis. But it's like they're just shooter games now. Whereas everything before that is like proper like survival horror, where you got item management and manage like which enemies you're killing, because
there was something like with the ink ribbons. Like the ink ribbons were genius, because they gave you the idea that, I can save now and head back there and be safe and all that, or I can advance a little bit further and make better use of my ink ribbon, but I could die and lose all that progress. So you had something to lose. You had that progress to lose. Whereas in like Resi 6, it's like, if I die, I'll just respawn at the checkpoint 2 seconds ago. No biggie. So there's nothing to lose. You have nothing to fear losing. If you just die, oh well. Yeah.
And since ink ribbons are limited as well, if you like save too often, you could be screwed, because you could like use up all the ink ribbons like in a particular area, like maybe halfway through the game, and you'd have to play like even longer then to get to the next area.
Yeah, and then that'd make it even scarier, because you'd always be on the edge of your seat, just like about to die. But then at the same time, you'd also be getting better at the game, and it's really cool because you do end up learning a lot of like small things about the game. Like I had no idea there's an auto aim function in the game, so that like if an enemy's behind you, you can just end up like, if you have the auto aim activated, you can just hold down aim, and it'll instantly like turn Jill around 180 degrees and aim directly at them, and it's really bizarre but cool. Also learning stuff like having to set enemies on fire and all that's cool as well.
Now that is specific just for the remake, because like in every other Resi game that's not in there, like, and in the original it's not there, because that links into like the Crimson Head enemies, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, the regular zombies, you can kill them and they go down. But after a while, like after a couple of minutes of, after you've...
After a set
I think
amount of time,
I think it's a set
they'll
amount of
come
time,
back.
But they'll turn into like Crimson Heads and they got claws and they run and stuff like that and they do more damage. Which, that just adds a lot more tension to it, because what if you forget to like burn the zombie, or if you don't get a headshot on it?
Or if you run out of kerosene, because there's only a limited amount of kerosene. And for every time you refill your canteen, you only get to burn 2 zombies. Yeah. So at the same time, you've also got to make sure to use that wisely. Like, you could try moving zombies so that they die on the same spot, and you can burn 2 zombies with one go, or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff at play when you're playing the game, and it's really cool.
It is so good. Yeah. Like I said, it's like the best remake that has ever been made in.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Probably.
It is gorgeous. Like, we were talking earlier about how the 16:9 stuff in Grim Fandango looks a bit weird. In this, it doesn't actually look that bad. Yeah. 4:3 obviously looks better, but 16:9 looks pretty damn good.
From what I can tell of it, all they've done is like zoomed in slightly, I think. I mean, the backgrounds are still 4:3, I think, but it's like...
no, they've remade certain areas.
Have they?
Yeah.
Because I know it like pans and zooms, so like, rather than seeing like a whole screen, you'd see like the top or bottom or left and right of it would be slightly cut off, but as you move to that area, it'll sort of like pan.
Yeah. That's right. But there are certain areas where they've just like gone in and recreated it in 3D, or they've added in some new elements or some actual 3D elements and stuff like that.
I mean, I know there's the crypt area with the Crimson Head.
With the Crimson Head prototype.
The death mask,
about that, I like that when you go to the labs in the late game, there's actually a note explaining why he's there. And it's like, he's fucking crazy. Let's lock him up. And it's like, oh, okay. That's so cool. It's so cool going. I've got to play like Resident Evil 2 and 3 and all that.
You do.
I do. Because then I should... I don't know. I'm not playing Zero, because they're gonna remake that as well, I bet. Because people are saying they're going to. So I'm just gonna wait until they do, because I bought Resident Evil on the remake on the Wii because you told me to, and then like a week later they were like, "Hey, we're remaking it, and it's gonna be playable on PS4 and PC and all this," and I'm like, great. So I ended up spending $40 on two copies of the same game. But yeah, I think that's enough remastering talk. So why don't we talk about the topics? News time. So Maddragon and Vertigo as our resident MMOers. What do you think about Elder Scrolls Online dropping the subscription service and in March being rebranded as Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited?
Not surprising at all.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last podcast that they'd either go free to play or just become buy to play, and yep, looks like we were right. We're geniuses as usual.
In this day and age, I mean, for an MMO not to go, like without a subscription or free to play or something, there's not many which still have a sub and stuff like that, is there?
Yeah.
But it's like, now it's gone like buy to play, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You still got to buy the game. But there's just no sub, and I think there's going to be like a premium service, which is like a sub, where you get access to the DLC, like little expansions and little bits of DLC as it comes out. And I think there's going to be a cash shop, isn't it?
That sounds about right. You're probably more knowledgeable about it than I am.
Which I'm hoping, because I don't think they've released any info about that yet, but I'm hoping it's just going to be like how Guild Wars 2 does it, which is just like mostly cosmetic stuff and a few boosts I think you can buy. But it's like, as long as the game itself is balanced, like, is like the standard balance of it, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But yeah, that's good. Means I can play Elder Scrolls Online without buying a sub, and it's going to consoles as well.
You're probably going to be playing the PS4 version, aren't you?
Yeah, but the PS4 version don't.
Yeah, you're going to have to get the PS Plus, so you technically have to sub.
Well, I already got PS Plus.
Of course you do.
Who doesn't have PS Plus?
I don't have PS Plus. Vertigo doesn't have PS Plus. Do you,
Oh,
Vertigo?
Sony
Do you have
fanboys
PS
you
Plus?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I think if you
okay.
have a
Oh, so it's
PS4,
just
you're
you.
crazy not to.
Well, hey, I have an excuse. It's called my brother has it, so I don't need it.
Why pay for something when you can get someone else?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Good strategy.
I will get it as soon as the Vita games they give you out are good, but so far everything they've shown off just looks pretty bleh. Or I already own it.
There's been tons of good Vita games though.
No, like
Dragon Crown,
I only got
Uncharted,
it
Gravity Rush.
December, remember? My Vita TV.
See, if only you had PS Plus, which you could have then got every game available on all consoles, even if you didn't have the console. Only.
Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I played the
Oh,
beta of the Skyrim Online, or I always call it Skyrim Online. Elder Scrolls Online.
Skyrim Online.
And like, I don't know, like, I mean, I love Skyrim, and Oblivion, but I don't know, it just didn't. Even when they first announced it, I was like, it's like, and they showed screenshots. Oh god, I hated the screen. But
yeah,
you know, it just I don't know, it just wasn't that fun. I've heard they've improved the combat and whatnot since then, whatever. And I might try it once it goes free. Well, it's still not free. You still have to buy a box. Thing is right. You still have to buy the box.
Yes, you still have to buy it.
Technically free to play.
Well, it's not free to play at all.
Well, once you buy it, though, there's not a well, they're just getting rid of the subscription.
Yeah, it's just going to be buy to play.
Right. So like Guild Wars then.
Yes.
So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like,
I just hope they make a new Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably try it once it does that, because I can know, and not that I ever will, but I know that I could go back and pick it up and to give it a second try. But yeah, I just wasn't that impressed with the beta. It was just kind of too much same old. I mean, the combat, the weapon system was kind of cool, like swapping weapons around and blah blah blah. But I don't know, it just wasn't that interested.
Yeah. All right, so I think we should head over to the next topic as soon as Maddragon returns. Maddragon, are you gonna return? For the viewers at home, for the listeners at home rather, Maddragon's got his microphone muted, and he's not here.
Thanks a lot, Maddragon. That is your real name. No?
Well, I mean,
why don't you brag about it? I'm a dragon in the real world, and it's like
he probably just wants to protect his identity, superhero stuff and all that.
But he's like, they'd be the only dragon, so I mean, you can't really protect
they
that.
probably
It'd be kind of obvious.
They probably try and hunt him and perform experiments on him.
What on earth are you two on about?
All right, you're back. Thank goodness.
Well,
Alien Isolation sells over 1 million units. What do you guys think about this?
Okay.
I am glad to hear it, because I hope this, and with remake, brings on an actual survival horror like renaissance.
Yeah, hopefully. It is nice. I mean, I don't play those types of games myself. I do like the Alien universe though, but I'm glad to see like a more classic horror game. Like, well, you do have weapons, but like more classic in that. Oh, you have to more like hide. You can't just run and gun like Resident Evil has turned into, because Capcom says that those types of games can't be financially viable anymore. It's nice to see this thrown in their face as being, hey, you guys are wrong, just like everybody said you were wrong. But in that sense, I'm glad that it was successful.
Yeah, and you were saying like weapons, and that's also something that horror games have been missing a lot of the time. Like, just any way of fighting back against the monsters while still letting them be scary, because that's something like Resident Evil 1 did really well. Like, you were still afraid of these zombies, even though you were this STARS member, and you were super well trained, and you could headshot them and stuff like that. You were still like, even though you could shoot them, you didn't want to like waste the resources, because that survival and stuff, you got to survive using what little ammo you do, not just survive by running away and hiding in a cupboard, which is something that I think some of the more modern horror games like Outlast and Amnesia have been missing.
Yeah, I mean,
you could fight back a little bit.
Like, I'm not too much of a fan of the first-person like horror games recently. Like, because it's more sort of like avoiding the enemy and like running away rather than, like just don't have enough control over like fighting back against the enemy.
So
Which,
I think that's
like
kind of the point.
yeah, but old survival horror games, you were able, to fight back, but you were
Like Silent Hill
limited
2.
on. Yeah, you were limited to how you could do it with, what resources you had and stuff like that. But most like horror games recently are just like run away, hide, hope you don't get seen. If you do, you're screwed. And
Well, it's just sort of
reload.
like because the gradual evolution of horror games were like, oh well, the controls. Well, like people would say, like in reviews, like, oh, the controls in Silent Hill 2 is shitty. We got to make the combat
were
better.
shitty.
And it's like, and so then they made it controlled like an average action game, and then people were like, this isn't scary. And then developers saw that and they were like, okay, no weapons, because we just can't trust ourselves with them.
The controls in old survival horror games were part of it because you were like, it adds to the tension and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you're just an
I don't know.
average Joe. You should have like average Joe abilities.
Well, except you're a member of an elite military
Well,
organization.
I meant more like
besides
Silent Hill,
all that,
but stars, yeah, that is a bit of a plot hole. They
You
can't
should
really
be-
move while shooting.
whooping ass, right? So I've never really been of the mindset of let's make this game scary by making the controls terrible. Like I hate that idea. I'd rather do it by having just limited resources. Like you just don't have enough bullets, so it doesn't matter if you headshot every single time. You still have to say, okay, well, is it worth headshotting? Because one, I don't have much ammo, and two, I might draw other enemies or other things like that, and make it more of a decision process as opposed to it's hard because we just made the controls balls.
Well, there's a line somewhere in the middle, I think, which is where I think Resident Evil 1 lands pretty well. Like, the controls are difficult to get accustomed to, but once you do get accustomed to them, you can fight the zombies effectively, but it's still not ideal. But you can still have full control over your character and stuff like that. So I think Resident Evil 1 is where I'd say, like, yeah, you want to, like, not be an expert headshot all the time, but you can like control your character. I think that'd be the nice middle ground. Or Alien Isolation. It seems to be you can fight androids and stuff like that, but it's not at all recommended. But you can do it, and the controls are fine. But yeah, it's good to see that it's selling well. DirectX 12 will be Windows 10 exclusive.
Interesting.
Have you guys seen? Sorry?
I have not.
Okay, yeah, the presentation about how it performs better than DirectX 11 and 9 and all that.
I haven't seen the video, but I heard about it. I heard it's pretty drastic.
Yeah, it basically just renders a bunch of polygons on screen and just keeps on rendering more and more until it essentially freezes. And DirectX 12 goes a lot further than DirectX 11, so it's an increase in performance and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing that you're limiting it to Windows 10 because God knows if Windows 10 is going to be any good or not. It took a while before Windows 8 wasn't crap. And Windows 8 is fine now. Like the problem too that Microsoft faces is when they release the OS, if it's crappy when it's released, that's everybody in their mind. From that point on, that OS is terrible. Like Windows 8 is fine now. Like Windows 8.1,
Windows
like,
Vista is all right now.
Yeah,
but when that released, like you were saying, I was in the mindset like, yeah, it's pretty shit. But when I actually did
those
get
first
it on
impressions
my laptop,
are
it was fine.
Heavily impact them for the rest of that OS's life cycle.
Like Windows 7, like when that came out, it was like
this is so much better than Vista. It's great.
Yeah,
we love it.
Yeah, so I never had a problem with it. I didn't have any of that mindset. But if there's any little, even just the tiniest, teeny little bit that Windows 10 is messing up in things, then it's gonna be shit.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on
Windows
Windows 10
is
because why is it at 9?
Why are they skipping 9?
Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard it had something to do with the way They did like something with Windows 9X.
Oh,
Like
Windows 95, 98, and stuff like that.
It was called, yeah, and it would have caused a problem. I don't know. That's just what I heard. I don't know. How
Yeah,
true it
yeah. I
is,
heard that as well, but it's just so
gotta think there's
weird.
a reason for it.
Oh well.
But yeah, I mean, I'll upgrade to it probably because they said if you have Windows 7 or 8, you get a free upgrade to it.
Oh well, that's actually the next topic, so let's go into that. Windows 10 will be a free upgrade during its first year of release for Windows 7 and 8.1 users. Everyone who wants Windows 10 after that will have to purchase a license to use it. There were rumors when this news was first announced that, oh, it's going to be like a subscription service if you don't buy it during that time. No, it's just going to be a standard license key after that.
And I'm sure they'll have 20 different versions.
Oh, yeah. But do you guys plan on upgrading, or do you plan on staying on 7 or 8.1 or whatever OS you're using?
I probably will, just to get DX10 access, and just because I like the new stuff.
You mean 12?
Or yeah, DX12. Just to get that, and just because it's something new. I just have to hope it's not a complete piece of crap like 8 was at release, or Vista, or whatever. So
I'm probably going to upgrade my laptop, but not upgrade my actual gaming computer, because screw that. Well, at least until I realize if it's good or not.
Because it's like as soon as it becomes available, there's no way I'm gonna upgrade like straight away. But because I mean, what if something goes wrong? What if it turns out it messes up?
If it's compatible with all my programs, then
all the programs, all the games, like what?
Yeah, the games
it just
especially
messes up completely.
And like if it ends up like breaking like Sony Vegas or something like that, then I'm going straight back to Windows 7 because I need Sony Vegas.
Yeah, stuff like that. I would hope it's not going to be flat out broken. I wouldn't think, unless the program is really old. Updating to a new OS is probably not going to break the program. Most likely.
Let's hope so. Fable Legends will have cross-platform multiplayer between Windows 10 PCs and Xbox One. So it's good to see that Xbox is starting to see that cross-platform play isn't the devil and it isn't Satan.
Yeah, but it's still Windows based. It's still,
still it's
Microsoft still doesn't want to play with everyone else.
Yeah,
it's like playing with your your cousin or something, but not with the guy across the street, who lives in the Sony house and stuff like
that. Yeah.
But seriously, Fable Legends, who cares?
Yeah.
What is
not sure.
Even going to be about
a multiplayer thing?
All I really know about it is that it's apparently a big Unreal Engine 4 showcase piece, because Lionhead has apparently been helping Epic out with global illumination and stuff like that. So originally I think they had to scrap global illumination from Unreal Engine 4 because it was just too demanding, but then Lionhead was like, hey, we figured it out and we're using it for Fable Legends. Would you like to put it into your engine? They were like, sure, thanks. And so now they've been all buddy-buddy and making it all fancy and graphically impressive.
The game is still going to be crap, basically, isn't it?
I'm just glad it's got colors at least. Most tech showcases tend to be brown and grey and brown. But I won't be buying it because Fable has been pretty meh.
Fable hasn't been good since the first one, really, is it?
I hear Fable 2 was alright.
It was alright, but it could have been so much better. But
Fable 3, yeah.
We don't talk about
Don't need to say more. Just say Fable 3 and like, yeah, I understand, brother. This should be interesting for you, Maddragon. Remote play for tablets or Windows 10 PCs for Xbox One games.
Ooh, so basically just taking a concept that other people are already doing and then, adding on to the Xbox One and shit.
Yep, and I like that. That's how good. Competition should be. Just steal.
I mean, it's
steal
nice
from everyone else.
It's definitely one that is going to be, nice for people to use and stuff. But again, it feels like Microsoft is just copying stuff that Sony has already done, or that Nintendo has already done with a gamepad and stuff like that, and going back on their word even more. about the features of the Xbox One and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it is a nice idea,
It is
and
nice.
I think it could be implemented pretty well. So I'm excited for it because this way it means that I will probably be able to record scale-bound whenever that game comes out for the Xbox One, since I could probably just use Fraps to record the desktop and have it remote played to the PC and do it that way, which sounds interesting to me. What do you think about that, Vertigo?
I think that's actually could help me finish some console games because I tend to not play them. One, because I can't record them, and two, just because like I'm on the PC already, so I'm just going to play my PC games. So I end up not finishing console games. That's why I tend to not buy a lot of them. So that would actually help me start finishing those up. That would be pretty neat, actually.
Yeah. Speaking of like recording and stuff like that, Game DVR. By pressing Windows plus G, you'll enable a Game DVR, which allows you to record, edit, and share video game clips on Steam, Xbox Live, or other services. So that's
cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So it's like a built-in recorder,
Windows
so
10.
built-in fraps.
And that's like built into Windows 10, is it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, sorry. I should have said like of Steam, Xbox Live, or other services, so you'll be able to record those games like no matter where they are from. So it's not just like a Windows exclusive store product or whatever. So that's yeah, I like that idea. But I think this is the thing we're going to be talking about mainly for the rest of the podcast. Nintendo Creators Program, RevShare, with YouTubers creating content on Nintendo products. So what do you think about this, Mr. Vertigo?
I think it sucks.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah, I did like a 20-minute rant video.
Yeah, I've linked it.
YouTube.com/VertigoTeaparty.
No, that's the link
for that, by the way. But long story short, because I've talked about this a lot the last 2 days, but basically, the way it works for those who saw it is if you have a video that has Nintendo content in it, specifically Nintendo made, not like on the console. So like, you could do Zombie U without a problem, right? So if you have their content and they content ID match it, in order for you to make any money on it, you have to join their program, and you either have to register on a video per video basis with them, and they have to approve it and all that, or you can just add your whole channel, which means they get part of all your ad revenues for every video you ever make, whether it's related to Nintendo or not. But when you register these videos with them, assuming you're not completely insane and you go with the option to do video by video, they get 40% of the revenue, you get 60%. And it was really mind-blowing to read certain areas. Now, some of these website comments, I'm not surprised, because you always have those idiots who are like, oh, that's just like if I recorded a movie and did commentary over it and expected to make money. Like, you get those idiots, so they have no idea what they're talking about. But like, and I know I shouldn't ever read NeoGAF because it's
yeah, I shouldn't have linked it to you.
Yeah, like that's how I found it, was your link, and I was like, oh, good lord. They were like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Like, this is a step in the right direction. Like, what are you people talking about?
No more LP stealing money from hardworking Nintendo.
Yeah, oh god. I only read like the first page, and I was like, okay, that's enough NeoGAF stupidity for one. And even on the subreddit, the Let's Play subreddit, a few people were like, oh, this seems like a good thing moving forward. And I made a post there too, like, are you people out of your damn minds? Like, did you read this thing? Because I think some people were not understanding. Like, even in the Let's Play, people were not understanding. They thought like they were going to make extra money for covering Nintendo games. I think that's. I mean, that's the only thing I could understand from some of the way these people were phrasing it. I'm like, no. You will make less money because they're going to take your part and only give you 60% of it.
No, so remember, the VAT rate may be changed arbitrarily. So if they wanted to just give you, say, 0%, fine.
Yeah, that part is quite amusing that they put that in there. And specifically said arbitrarily. It was pretty damn amusing. But I mean, there's all kinds of problems with it. But I mean, the long and short of it is like, look, people try to argue it's not advertising, and I'm not going to sit here and try to make the argument like people are doing this altruistically and like, oh, I'm doing Nintendo a favor by covering their games. It's not the case, right?
Unless you're PewDiePie, maybe.
well, yeah, like if you
even PewDiePie actually doesn't like this. He made a video about it as well, like condemning it.
Yeah, he did. Well, he made a blog post about it. I don't know. Did he make a video too?
I think he made a video because I remember Polygon saying PewDiePie attacks Nintendo's new policy, and then PewDiePie responding to Polygon saying like, "What the fuck? I didn't." Well, he didn't say what the fuck, but he said like, "I wasn't attacking them. I was just saying how I was disappointed with them."
Oh yeah, I didn't read Polygon's article because I tend to just avoid Polygon.
Oh yeah, of course you wouldn't read Polygon. That's terrible.
Because it's a shit site.
It
but
is.
I saw the headline. And it was like, because his statement, I read his entire statement, and it was pretty, like, I mean, it's interesting because I don't really a fan of his work, but I don't have a problem with PewDiePie as a person. He seems like a nice person. He seems personable. He's done a lot of charity work. He seems like a nice guy. Like, I have nothing against him as an individual, even though I don't really a fan of his work, and that's fine. So I read his statement on it because, like I said, whether you like him or not, he's a very important person.
He made like $4 billion last year.
Yeah, billion. How many millions of subscribers now? Like over 20-something million.
It's insane.
But it's getting bigger all the time. So I mean, you can't argue he's not a substantial person in the gaming community, industry, whatever you want to call it.
He's the biggest,
and they were pretty tame. He basically said, I think this is bad. He's like, I think I am definitely less inclined to do any Nintendo videos, and I think they should change it. It wasn't like you idiot morons, like I was, or other people were lambasting them. He was pretty tame on them. He was.
Yeah, he wasn't like, "Iwata, please understand when I smack you upside the head." He wasn't like.
And I saw the headline for Polygon's article. And it was something like, what was it? It was like PewDiePie blasts Nintendo over.
It's just stupid clickbait, like it always is from Polygon.
Yeah, oh god, they've really I used to read them when they first came out, and they had some interesting articles.
And then they let all of those people who wrote those interesting articles, they let them go. They just like, who needs actually interesting content about the development of Homefront and how they fucked everything up? No, we don't need that. We need more clickbait about how game journalists are great guys.
Yeah, I don't know. They just really gone down a shit, and they still had the occasional good article, but they've really fell into the clickbait trap and just really trying to milk things. What's fun was, remember when the whole hatred debacle was going on, and of course one of them was like, oh, hatred's. It's just shock value doesn't mean anything and it has no weight, but yet they keep publishing articles about hatred and they keep talking about it. It's like, well, wait a minute. You can't say that the shock value isn't working, but then constantly talk about the shock value of the game.
Ken Levine was tweeting about it, saying how game journalists, if they don't like something, just don't report on it because you're just giving it airtime that could be given to a more deserving game that you do like.
Yeah, and that's kind of not really your job. I mean, you can run your website however you want. I mean, it's your website, but treat it. It is what it is. Like if it's just going to be stuff you want to cover, promote stuff that you want to promote, call it a blog, right? I mean, be honest. But I mean, even aside from that, and they're not the only ones. But I will say most of the headlines were pretty tame. Like they were just like PewDiePie doesn't like this thing and whatever. And I was like, that's pretty fair from reading his statement. But yeah, they were like, PewDiePie blasts it. So what did he say about their statement or whatever?
What, the Polygon article?
Mm-hmm.
I don't read Polygon.
No. I thought you said he responded to what they said.
Oh, he said that I don't remember exactly, but it was basically, what do you mean by attacks Nintendo? I thought I was pretty calm and stuff like that. And I was like, this isn't nothing bad at all. He was very nice about it and stuff like that. I can try to find his tweet. It will only be a second. Replies. Hang on. Attack. I explain why I think they are wrong. That's hardly attacking. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I mean,
what an asshole!
Without question. Like I was attacking them. Yeah, and I read, like I said, I read his statement before I saw any of the article headlines or anything. I definitely did not see it as attacking. I saw it as him saying, "I don't like this. Like, I think this is a bad move." Like, it's so different. But I mean, that's just kind of the way it is now, right? Like, if you say anything negative about anything, you're hating on it. Like, if you say, "Oh, your audio could be better and your video," it's like, "Oh, you hater, get out of here." It's like, no, I'm just saying your audio could be better.
I think we're getting a bit off topic, but back to Nintendo. I don't think the way that they've done it is correct. I think once you've bought their game, you should be able to upload videos of it, commentary, and do all that stuff like however you like. But Nintendo has said before that they don't like just regular gameplay, and I think this is just another one of their ways of trying to control that. Because if you remember Reggie saying, "Oh, we don't find Twitch streams as being something that's fun. We want to do more edited stuff like what we did with the Mega 64 guys." It's easy to see that they don't like just regular gameplay. They prefer edited stuff, and they just want to control how their games get seen. And this seems like just another way of trying to tell people, hey, don't monetize. If you want money, then do it our way. If you're not going to do it our way, well, then you're not going to get money. So either way, Nintendo ends up winning, because if you don't end up like submitting your video to them and getting it approved, then they'll get all the money anyway. So it's like, why even bother?
Yeah, it's and even what Reggie said wasn't that they don't like it. His implication was, oh, people are interested in this. Like, are you insane?
That's
like,
it's people are interested in it, and they're just like being blind to it because they're bloody Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right, and that's because I remember going on a big rant about that, because I think I made a video about that too.
Yeah, you did a tea time on it.
Yeah, and I was like, he either I like Reggie. That's the thing. I like Reggie, but
he's a nice bloke.
Either completely oblivious, which I find almost impossible to believe, even though he works for Nintendo, or he's just flat out lying. You can't look at things like Twitch and the explosive growth Twitch has had, and the explosive growth.
Yeah, like Twitch TV used to be the subsidiary of Justin TV or whatever, like the small side of it, and now it is the company. It is Twitch TV. It's not Justin TV. Justin TV is a side of Twitch. They actually made that.
I remember the whole Justin TV thing. I remember when it became Twitch and all that. So yeah, I mean, you'd have to be completely in the dark. And I know Nintendo is in the dark, but I mean, you'd really have to intentionally stick your head in the sand to not see that, no, people are interested in watching these types of videos. And that's why it just blew me away that he had the gall to say that, because I just was like, come on, like, better. Like, look, if you guys have issues with, because remember one of the Smash guys also said he didn't want to put cinematics in the new Smash because people would just upload it and defeat the whole purpose. I'm like that's stupid.
Sakurai.
Like, that's such a stupid reason to not want to do that. It's like, look, this is the way things are now. You need to adjust, and that's the problem. Is they don't want to adjust, and they're wondering. You're scratching their heads, wondering, why do we keep getting all this negative backlash? It's like, because we're not everybody else. Everybody else sees that this stuff being covered on Twitch, YouTube, etc., helps, not hurts. And to penalize people and to give them less reason to want to cover your stuff is madness.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny because like EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and all these companies, they'll actually go out of their way to pay people to cover their games. Whereas Nintendo is like, maybe we'll consider letting you earn money from our content. It's so funny how out of the whack they are.
Right. And it's just, I don't know. It's, and I'm not even going to get into the whole fair use and being covered in Let's Plays, because frankly, I think it's a tenuous argument at best to say that a Let's Play would be covered by fair play or fair use. Obviously, reviews would be covered. Like, that's a no-brainer. Reviews should absolutely 100% be covered by fair use, and Nintendo should get 0% of that money because it's a review. Just like they don't have access to money that's if Destructoid does a review, or Polygon, or Kotaku. If they do a review of a game, Nintendo doesn't come in and go, "Oh, well, you use images and video from our game in your review, so we're going to need a part of that ad revenue." Of course, they don't do that because it would be insane on multiple levels and illegal, at least in the United States, because again, that would be fair use. So, Let's Play is obviously completely arguable. It's not been proven in a court of law, yada yada yada. And there's fair arguments to be made that it shouldn't be covered by, whatever. All that notwithstanding, the legal arguments notwithstanding, I think that it's shown time and time and time again that this type of thing helps sell games. Hell, it's helped sell terrible games. So I mean, how many more sales do you think like the Ride to Retribution got?
Ride to Hell
just because
Retribution,
it got
yeah.
so much bad press, right? Like how many people went and bought it just to see how bad of a game it was?
Yeah. I'm fairly certain it's one of the like a greatest hits or a platinum seller. Like Sonic 06 is a platinum seller. It's sold over 1 million units, and it's terrible.
And like, look at Minecraft. Like, obviously, Minecraft is the exception, I think, or I forget what you like the real outlier. But I mean, I still think the game would be popular. Make no mistake, I still think they would have.
But you got to remember, like Nintendo is the company that said we would be willing to help Minecraft by putting it on the Wii U and 3DS. It's like, no, Minecraft would be helping you by being on the Wii U and 3DS, not the other way around.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know Japanese companies in particular.
No. I don't think this has anything to do with like Japanese stuff because Square Enix, Capcom, Sony, all these people. This is just a Nintendo thing.
Sega.
Yeah.
Sega's because Sega's probably like the worst because they've actually issued strikes.
Yeah, but even now they've actually gotten a lot better about it. They did the I don't know what it is, what Golden Axe or whatever. What was the game they issued strikes for?
Shining Soul.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds Shining Soul. Well, they issued strikes for that, but then after that, they've been pretty okay with it, and I think they actually allow coverage of their games, like all the Total War games, Football Manager, Sonic, all that stuff. I think they're fine and encourage it.
Yeah, but people have been burnt, and it's gonna leave a memory of it. It's like,
oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, do I want to cover this Sega game, or are they gonna come back and bite me in the ass again?
Yeah.
But
like, I mean, like Square even Enix, they are starting to understand it.
Square Enix, like Japan said it was okay because I think Square Enix US said it was okay. My understanding was that Japan is still gray area.
Oh, okay.
It's like I uploaded a Square Enix video, like of Drakengard 3, I think, and that got, content ID matched like straight away.
Was that by the music at least, or?
Probably.
Yeah, the music tends to be really weird. Because for some reason they don't actually own the music, like they don't have the copyrights to that. That goes to the people who created the songs.
Visual content.
Oh, okay. That might not actually be Square Enix though, because I remember back when Deus Ex Human Revolution released, Square Enix was taking down Deus Ex Human Revolution videos, but it turns out, no, that's actually just some stupid idiot, or some smart idiot, I guess, abusing YouTube's content ID match system, and Square Enix had nothing to do with it.
Okay. That's
because I remember, like, I think some of my videos are claimed by THQ or something like that, and they're not existent, so, yeah.
GG.
Well, that could be false claims to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh well, so, we ready to move on? Nintendo's done?
Nintendo is done.
Oh, sorry, dumb.
Oh, yeah, they're dumb too.
Joystick has been shut down.
Well, I don't think I've ever used joystick, so
I've never used it either. But they did recently remove scores from their reviews, so yeah. Did you happen to read the article where they reported on whether or not they're being shut down?
I did not.
Okay, well, Penny Arcade actually made a funny comic about that, and it's like, a joystick interviewer going to his boss and is like, "Can you confirm or deny that I will have a job tomorrow?" And he's like, "No comment." It's just like, oh man, that's the most depressing thing. Like, you're not even sure if you'll have a job tomorrow, so you have to report on it. And you couldn't even get a comment then. Just Christ. Yeah, but it's a shame to see joystick shut down, but hey, that's how stuff works in the YouTube world, it seems now. Seems like every other week a new gaming website or a gaming website or a gaming magazine is being shut down because it's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really read Joystick, so I mean, I guess it sucks to see people lose their jobs. It always does, but sometimes like I said, it's the before magazines were that traditional media, and now it's kind of websites are slowly starting to have these issues. So it seems like things are moving to, like we talked about, YouTube and Twitch and that kind of thing, which there's still a very important role that gaming press can and should serve. So I definitely don't want all the sites to go away. I like to see them start focusing on that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, are we ready to move on since none of us are really big fans of joystick?
Sure.
Anthony Birch has left Gearbox Software. Bye.
He's kind of a twat, so whatever.
Why? What has he done exactly?
He's written Borderlands 2, and he's had some work in the pre-sequel, I believe. I think he might have also worked on Colonial Marines. I'm not sure.
That was Ashley Birch. She did a voice.
Ashley Birch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the Birch. It's confused.
Voice. Yeah, they're so much alike. It's hard to tell them apart, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's whatever. I thought Borderlands 2 was mostly pretty funny. Like, it definitely had some good dialogue in it, I thought.
Yeah, but at times there are some plot holes which, like when people die in the plot, and like, why do they permanently die and not just respawn from the new U station? It's like,
yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I guess in games like that, I'm already not really paying a whole lot of attention to the story as it is, because it's more like whimsical. So I'm not really paying that much attention to it. So stuff like that, I guess I don't really give it a lot of thought like I would in something like BioShock or something.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the only problem I really had with his writing was like when he would quote memes and stuff like that, or like there was this one that was like, "I used to be an adventurer like you till I took a bullet to the knee." I was like, "Fuck that!"
Oh god, every time. I mean, I guess to be fair, the game's a bit older, so it was. I mean, granted, that meme got old pretty damn fast.
That meme was old when Borderlands 2 released.
Yeah, it probably
like it was ancient.
Yeah, and there's still every now and then I'll still see games reference that. I'm like, God, come on, please stop.
Yeah,
please stop. But yeah, I mean, whatever.
There was this video by Hyperbit Hero who made a video about memes in video games and how you just really shouldn't do it because it'll date your game incredibly. And the same thing goes with like general pop culture references in games. Like I was playing Gex Enter the Gecko or whatever, and he was referencing stuff from like the 90s, and I was like, I don't understand any of this at all. What are you referencing? What are these TV shows? Who are these people you're talking about? I'm sure at the time it was like, oh, you zany gecko referencing pop culture. Now it's like, you insane gecko? I don't understand what you're talking about. Hyrule Warriors.
I think just don't go crazy with it. The occasional reference, like Guacamelee, always comes to mind as a game that completely went overboard with the meme references.
Yeah.
It's like the first couple, I was like, oh, hey, I get it. And then it's like, oh, Jesus. Like every couple of seconds, there's a new meme reference like right here. It's like, God damn, guys, we get it. Like,
yeah,
we're down with the internet
like I like the video game references they have, like having Mario made of bricks and stuff like that. But referencing like Grumpy Cat and stuff like that is just no, stop that, stop.
You can reference Grumpy Cat as much as you want though, because I love Grumpy Cat.
Have you watched the movie?
No.
Wait, that's out?
I don't love him that much. her that much.
All right, let's move on. Hyrule Warriors ships 1 million units worldwide. And I think that is great because I love the game. I bought it and I finished it and it's fantastic. I should play it again on hard mode and then maybe consider starting that adventure mode stuff because that stuff is crazy difficult if you're like haven't finished the main quest twice.
Oh, I should probably finish that quest.
You should finish it because then I can link you a bunch of comics about the game and how crazy Sia is.
Wait, are these official comics?
No, these are fan comics.
Oh dear me.
Yeah, you should totally play it. It's funny. It's called Hyrule Warriors, and it's something this person draws on Tumblr. It's
is that the thing you linked me earlier?
Yeah, I was linking you them.
Yeah.
They're so fucking good. Yeah, it's a great game.
I need to get back to that game.
You do. You really do.
Leveling them up.
Yeah, I like the game.
Have you purchased the DLC at all?
Pardon?
Have you purchased the DLC?
No, instead of purchasing any of the DLC, I decided, I'll purchase some Dynasty Warriors 8 and Warriors of Orochi 3 and stuff like that, so, yeah. But I should play some more Hyrule Warriors. They released all the costumes and stuff like that for the Ocarina of Time, like all the pre-order stuff, so you can purchase those. So I might purchase like Skyward Sword Zelda or Twilight Princess Zelda. Oh, did you know you can get Hilda from A Link Between Worlds in Hyrule Warriors?
Hilda. Oh wait, that's the princess, isn't it? Or...
Yeah, that's the Princess of Lorule.
Yeah, the world. Yeah. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, well, it's an alternate skin for Zelda. Yeah.
Cool.
And you know that girl in Twilight Princess, Ely or something like that? The girl who looks after Epona at the start?
What's her name? Lila?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, she's an alternate skin as well, which is cool. Yeah, so Hyrule Warriors.
A cheap way of adding a new character.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm good to see that. I'm glad to see, rather, that Hyrule Warriors is so successful.
It deserves it.
It really does.
It's a really good game.
Have you heard that they're thinking about releasing like Mario Warriors?
No, I haven't, and I oh my god, why would they do that? Oh, actually, wait, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would love to play like Princess Peach and using her parasol to like destroy enemies.
Oh no, that does actually sound pretty cool.
Yeah, I want that. They were originally going to do Pokemon, but I think the Pokemon company was like, nah.
Well, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, but
we got Pokken for that.
Yeah, Pokken, which they better bring that out over here.
Yeah, they better bring it out on the Wii U. Have you seen the new screenshots of that? The game looks gorgeous on arcades.
Imagine if they add like every single Pokemon on that.
Jesus, that's a lot of the biggest fighting character roster ever.
700, 800 odd like Pokemon to choose from. Jeez.
Anyway, getting a bit off topic. Let's go to the next topic. Phil Spencer says we have to go much further than we did with Games for Windows Live. There's really not that much to go off here, but this doesn't make me feel happy.
Yeah, they just need to forget it. Like, stop.
They need to go further than what they did. They need to go so further that they just cancel it.
Yeah, cancel it. Pretend it never existed. Don't talk about it. Just like Windows ME. Just don't talk about it. It never happened.
What never happened?
Just move on. Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's definitely the right way to do it.
I mean, what's the point? People, when they go on PC, if they want like a system like that, they use Steam.
Yeah, and
you use
like what?
Other services.
Because the last time they tried Games Windows Live, they just ended up deserting it and forcing everyone to convert their games to Steam. So let's just skip that whole step and just use Steam, and that's it.
I mean, Steam is so established as like the main go-to platform for PC.
That's because it's so user-friendly to users and developers. It's so good. So it's like, hey, if you want to have something that's incredibly simple to use, incredibly simple to implement, has access to a wide amount of features, and is the common accepted version of your game, and if you have it on here, people will buy it, like even if they don't like your games, like use Steam. If you want people to never buy your game, use Games Printers Live.
And if there's any company out there that can make a competitor to Steam, it's not Microsoft.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. They can't do it. They do not have its abilities. They just don't. Flat out. Straight up. They don't have it.
Yeah.
Give up.
The only closest competitor I can think of to Steam is like that could become a competitor is maybe like Amazon. But that's it. But even then, they just like sell Steam keys and it's like, okay, well, thank you.
Right. I mean, if you just measure the competency of the company in other areas, Microsoft just wouldn't be able to handle it. But yeah, like somebody like Amazon, sure, they could pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next topic since we don't want to scare ourselves too much with Games Windows Live talk. The PlayStation Vita is losing Nier, maps, and YouTube support in a March update. Vita means live, everyone. Vita means live.
I mean, the Vita is, I mean, it's a great system and I love it. But it's, and it's got like a dedicated like fan base of,
crazy people.
Users and stuff. Crazy people, yeah, exactly. But it's like, this is not going to do any favors for Sony. It just seems like they're abandoning it.
It really does.
I mean, first of all, okay, maps. Maps, fair enough. I mean, who uses maps on the Vita? The only way that would be useful is if you got a 3G Vita, which nobody does. And it's like, YouTube, why are they getting rid of YouTube support? That makes no sense.
Yeah, YouTube support is the biggest one that I think is the biggest loss. 'Cause, like, the YouTube browser on the Vita is actually pretty good, so them getting rid of it is pretty upsetting.
But I think you can still use YouTube, like the full site and the mobile site, on the web browser. So there's some, hope still left there. But still, it just seems really...
Yeah, because YouTube's not Flash anymore, is it? It's all HTML5.
But then there's also Nier as well, which is like... It was supposed to be Vita's like social
Street
feature,
Pass.
like Street Pass and stuff like that. Problem is, nobody knows what the fuck it does.
I don't know what it does.
Nobody knows. I mean, how long has the Vita been out? I still don't have a clue what Nier is for. I mean, it sort of like tells you what people near you, have been like playing, and that's
it. It's a good JRPG.
I don't know what it does. So,
yeah.
Really, it's just YouTube's the only one that I'm like a little puzzled by and sad about.
Yeah, same. They should be adding stuff, not removing stuff, though.
I don't get why they're removing them though, because why take away some sort of functionality from the system?
Yeah.
Better just leave it there. If you don't want to support it anymore, just leave it there. Don't remove it.
Agreed.
Sony's done this before. They've removed like Linux support from the original PS3 and stuff.
Yeah, but that was because people were like hacking into it through that. I doubt anyone's hacking into the Vita through Nier and the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it does not bode well for Vita. But as long as I still get my JRPGs, I don't care.
Have you played Ys Memories of Celceta?
No, because I ordered it like last week and it still hasn't arrived, and I think it's lost in the mail. So I gotta like wait till midway through next week before I can like claim for like a replacement. Damn it.
Yeah. Well,
I was really looking forward to that.
While you wait, why don't you play Evolve Hunter's Quest, which is a free-to-play match 3 puzzle game for mobile devices. Surely that'll keep you occupied.
What has that got to do with Ys?
No, like while you're waiting for it, you can just play the match 3 game of Evolve.
It's a free-to-play mobile game. Yay, and it's a match 3 puzzler of Evolve, the first-person co-op shooter game.
What the hell is 2K doing with this game? Like, everything I've heard about this game in recent weeks and months has just been terrible. Like, all the pre-order stuff, the PC Monster Race Edition, which is just terrible. The DLC that's been cut from the game that ends up costing you like $120 to get everything. And now, instead of like adding the content back to the game, they're like, hey, why don't we make a match 3 puzzle games? What are you doing? Oh my god.
See, It's like everything about this game. I mean, when they first announced it, as they were, going along developing it and giving us little bits and teasers of it, I loved it. I love the idea of it, and it's like I want to get it and play it and really enjoy it. But as it's getting nearer to release, and all the DLC, like you said, and stuff like that, and now some weird tie-in, horrible free-to-play game.
I think this is like another example of what happens when you try to make a Valve-styled game without Valve. Like we saw it with Quantum Conundrum when trying to be Portal without Valve, and it just wasn't as good. And we're going to see Left 4 Dead, made by Turtle Rock, but without Valve, and it just doesn't look as good. And instead of like having free updates with all the DLC and stuff like that, it's like, nope, give us $15 or more, and it's just like, great, go back to Valve.
I mean, when there's this much DLC and stuff for it, like before the game's even out, that's a big turn-off.
Like before it's even out, this is like Ubisoft level stuff.
I'm so glad I wasn't like interested in this game.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much just stupid stuff going on with it. And the DLC and like it just they just completely botched it. It really does sound like they're just basically like, it's when you look at it, you're like, what? It's 4 hunters and a monster is all you get with the base price, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Or no. Sorry, that's not true. 4 hunters and I think 3 monsters.
That's not much better. Yeah, that's all you get with the base game. I was expecting a hell of a lot more. You gotta have a lot more like variety in the classes and stuff. Oh my god. I would love to get this game, but now with all that, I'm not getting it until it's at least half price.
Yeah, it's definitely a game you'll pick up on sale. Because then, hopefully the DLC will be 50% off, and you can get the game. You can get all the content for what it should have cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I didn't like Left 4 Dead. I thought it was a great concept, bad execution. So I never really got into it, and the community is god awful.
Oh yeah,
you've got to always play with friends.
Yeah. Oh god, Left 4 Dead community is garbage.
See, I actually enjoy it when I've played it with friends. And again, watching paint with friends is fun, so whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole discussion to be had about how valid that is. I think sometimes it's totally valid to say this game's fun with friends. Like fighting games, right? Like fighting games.
Everything is fun with friends, but
right. Yeah. But some games are more like that's what they're about, right? They're about for playing with other people, or specifically playing with people you know. Others, it's a crutch. Like for example, I played through. I can't believe I almost never play games twice. At least newer games. I played through Aliens: Colonial Marines twice.
What's wrong with you?
Once co-op. Because it just kind of happened. Like me and my friend Donnie, we were like, "Oh, let's get co-op. Let's try it." So we ended up playing it, and we were just kind of blowing through it. So we ended up beating it in 2 sittings, I think. And it was okay, but it was also co-op. So and solo, it was pretty crappy. So I consider that more of a crutch. This game's okay with co-op, but then again, even though it's boring, game is better with co-op. But if you look at games like Bomberman, right? I don't know if you've played any of the Bomberman games. Those games are incredible.
I played the 360 version.
Right, if you play that local co-op and stuff, it's insane. It's awesome to play. And the X-Men games on consoles, the Marvel Alliance, and before that the X-Men Legends games, I think they were called.
Oh yeah, they were good.
They were awesome to play multiplayer, but by yourself with 3 AI controlled other units, it was not really that interesting. So. Yeah. Anyways, the whole thing to be said about that, but I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. It's more along. I like the idea of the asynchronous multiplayer where you've got one player or one side that is different or tougher or whatever than the other side. Like the first game I think I played was very, very long time ago. We're talking 2001-ish, I think. I played a aliens game where one side was aliens, the other side was Marines, but you could even play as face huggers and latch onto the Marines and stuff like that. And the Marines had the motion trackers, and the aliens were really, really weak, but they were super fast. and you could like go through air ducts, and you could climb on the walls. And the idea was that you would jump out and like do some damage and then run away again because you couldn't kill them that fast. And kind of strike as a group and kind of keep them off guard and stuff like that. And I thought that was really, really cool.
You know, there's actually something like that in Nintendo Land. It's Luigi's Mansion style, where someone with a gamepad plays as the ghost, and everyone else has the flashlight.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but see, that looks really fun.
It is really fun. It is by far the best game on Nintendo Land.
Yeah, I like the whole idea. And, you know, even if I was interested in Evolve, like all this DLC stuff definitely took me away from it. And, you know, I might buy it a year from now, like you said, with all the DLC when it's cheaper. But by then, like, how many people are going to be playing it? And is the community still garbage like it is with Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, definitely. Seems like the game's been shot in the foot before it's even been released. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Metal Gear Rising 2 was teased. Oh, I hope this game exists.
Gotta be real.
I want it. Oh my god. Like, I need this. Just make it Metal Gear Rising, but on the fly weapon swapping, longer story, maybe like of Bayonetta length instead. More abilities, stuff like that. And yeah, I would I'd say that's like one of the best games there already. Don't even need to do anything else.
See, if this is real, well, no, it's got to be real. It has to be real. It
has to be.
What on earth is the story going to be like? How can they top it?
I don't know, but I mean, like, Raiden's got his own war to fight, so...
Yeah. How can they top the intro of going up against a Metal Gear Ray?
Someone was saying on like NeoGaf, like, play as Sonny instead. It's like a cyborg ninja Sonny. That would be sweet. I'd be down for that.
I'm pretty sure I read like a tweet that someone was saying where they do it like Metal Gear Solid 2, where it starts off, you play the first little bit of the game as Raiden, and then it's like Solid Snake for the rest of the game.
Well, you know what? They might end up going back to what the original concept is and show how Raiden turned into a cyborg ninja.
That would be bloody cool.
Because that was the original idea for Metal Gear Solid Rising.
Yeah, because the gap from 2 and 4, you know, we don't know like how Raiden went from 2, you know, and
we have no idea at all what the hell happened past the end of 2. Like, it was like some cyborg VR thing, and then next time it's like, oh, he's a cyborg ninja? What? How?
It got old, and then all the nanomachines and stuff, and the PMCs and stuff like that happened, and you know, because none of that was in 2. That was like, you know, happened like years from number 2.
Nanomachines has always been a thing in Metal Gear, though.
Yeah, but it was never like, you know, the whole like military or PMCs and stuff like that was all controlled by nanomachines and stuff like that.
Well, Snake had nanomachines in him.
Yeah, but it wasn't like to the
extent. I remember that's their explanation for why you can't fire your gun in the area with the radioactive stuff. Like, we've made it to the nanomachines, so you can't fire your gun. And it's like, I am a trained military specialist. You don't fucking trust me? You're gonna use like little robots in my body? That's just insulting. But yeah, there's really not much to go on aside from the number 2. And it's stylized like Metal Gear Rising's font, so...
Yeah. I mean, there is no other game that could be...
There's...
that font and that style.
I need it. Give it a proper dev cycle as well, because, like, it only started development in, like, 2011, and then it was released early 2013 or something like that. So they had, like, no time at all to develop it. So, oh man, imagine if they had, like... the amount of time like Kojima's team did. Oh fuck, that we don't even know if it'll be by Platinum. It might be Kojima doing it this time with his own studio.
I'd rather Platinum do it.
Yeah, I'd rather Platinum do it. They're the master of stylish action games.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of having it split off into the whole Metal Gear Rising thing, though, right? Is so that they could do this whole action thing and not be mixing it up with Metal Gear Solid, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be platinum. I mean, they can't have anyone else do it.
If they have, it'll be Ninja Theory.
Oh God.
Oh God, no, please.
Your main enemy in the game will be the camera.
Yeah. All right, so that's about it for this podcast. Do you guys have anything you want to shout out?
Oh, I guess I'll go first since reverse alphabetical order. I just watch my Citizens of Earth LP because that game needs more love. Damn it! It's youtube.com/VertigoTeaparty.
All right. And for me, I'll be shouting out Sharky and the Bears parts, Gang Beast LP part 7 or something like that.
Gang Beast, yes.
Oh, that was so good when he goes into the fan and just, I survived. Oh, it's
seriously,
brilliant.
I've been watching every one of those. I think I've missed like the first, some of the middle videos, but oh my word, is that
it's so good.
Shit.
It's so fun to watch. Those two are a hoot. Anyway, Maddragon, what are you shouting out?
Amiibos. Do you like amiibos? I'm doing some
I love
videos.
amiibos.
That's basically the only thing I'm doing right now. I mean, not much gameplay stuff going on, but amiibos, check them out. I got videos.
Your reviews have exponentially increased in quality as you've done more. It's insane.
Well, I've done 3, so the first one was pretty.
It was basic, but then the second one, you go you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I really should do more of those, but I uploaded an unboxing video of the latest ones that came out, and holy crap, it's nearing 2,000 views.
Oh, nice!
In a week, which is insane. Yeah, it's just been just over.
Vertigo, you said you want to get some subscribers. I think you found your way. Just get some amiibos.
Just get them and film them. Just say, hey, look, this is.
Get them, film them, and then sell them for double the price on eBay.
I actually considered doing that. I was looking around. I was like, okay, which ones are the ones that are hard to find? Because I live kind of a little bit in the backwoods, just you could say. So a lot of times you can find stuff like that, at stores, because there's not that many people go to them. And I was like, maybe I'll go buy some of that stuff and resell that. But too late for it.
All right. Well, that ends the podcast. So thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Does that means hello, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you said hello to them when we were leaving?
Yeah, because I couldn't think of what goodbye is. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And nobody knows.
Nobody.
Children